Welcome back to the Wine Down with Yana, where the wine is poured and the truth eventually comes out. Okay, before we get into tonight's topic, can we talk real quick? Issa Rae is a freaking menace, let me tell you, respectfully, because she created a 27-part TikTok series that had me sitting here scrolling like a crazy person. Like I'm sitting here watching somebody's relationship explode in real time. Screen time is giving secrets, phones, friendship drama, relationship mess, and the reminder that your phone knows entirely too much about you. And honestly, it was genius because Issa said, y'all ain't got the attention span. And most of us don't. I do because I still watch a lot of long form content. However, she has created one of the best mini series I have seen in a very long time. Um, Literally bite-sized pieces that had you like hooked. I think it got like 45 million views in less than a week. Amazing. So tonight we're gonna wind down about that as well. Because if somebody hacked my phone and put my business on TV, let's unplug the whole damn house. But if you have not seen it, go to Hooray Media's page on TikTok. Start from the beginning. Do not sit here and watch anything if it ain't in chronological order, because you're going to want to be able to be like, wait a minute. So start at episode 1 and just and keep going. Now, I'm just going to let you know, if you like me and you're like flipping the way that I was flipping, you're going to get done in literally no time. And the rest of it drops on May 22nd. And my gosh, it feels so far away, but it's still so close. So it's one of those where it's just like, just come on, Issa, just give us what we want. You ain't giving us no more Insecure, so you might as well. But don't, again, do not jump into this halfway. You got to start from the beginning. But yeah, come back and let me know in the comments what you think about it when you've watched it. But now we can get into the wine. Today's selection is from Total Wine and More, of course. It's a Bordeaux blend out of Bordeaux, France. The brand is ABK6, and the alcohol is 12.5. It's medium body. The nose is complex with intense citrus and exotic fruit aromas. On the palate, it's a beautifully elegant with notes of pastry, roundness, and a full finish. So let's go ahead and get to the pour. And I like that it's a twist top because y'all see, I've been struggling lately. I don't know why, but I've been struggling. I should have did this the opposite way. It's okay. Let me tell you, and I need every bit of this wine because the week is weakened. Oh no. It's okay. This is representation of how life has been going for me right now. There we go. And that's a heavy pour. I probably shouldn't. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. All right, let's see. Oh, it does smell a little citrusy. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna give it a swirl. That's for Errol. That's nice. That is really nice. It's not sweet at all. It's not dry either. So I do like that. It's very refreshing. I like this a lot. And y'all know I just became a white wine girly within the last couple of years. So I'm definitely happy with this selection. Now let's go ahead and get into tonight's conversation because I just had to do my normal. I'll be scrolling while I'm working. Shh, don't tell nobody. I think we all do. But I was scrolling while I was working, and KevOnStage he was talking about, being an adult and what he thought it was going to be like. And let me tell you, the way that it triggered me to go, What did I think being grown was gonna be like? It ain't nothing like what you see on TV, friends hanging out every day, spending the night at your house, coming for breakfast, and then going to work. It's nothing like that at all. But in my head, when I was younger and I thought I wanted to be grown,
wake up, go to work, groceries, eat healthy, everything's bad. Skincare, drink your water, take your vitamins, take your peptides. Laundry, 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 laundry. Dishwasher's full. Pay a bill, text, email. Hey, are you coming? Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Credit score, check your credit score. Don't check your credit score. Check your credit score. Don't! Ingrowns. Taxes. Taxes, pay your taxes. Taxes.
it is nothing like. I just knew I was gonna have everything figured out all together. My whole life was gonna be like boom, 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 boom. No, no, because life humbled me. um, I thought I was gonna be at peace 24/7. I was gonna have stability 24/7. Uh, a savings account that was busting at the seams, and it's not. But what's crazy is I read that nearly 70% of adults feel like they're just figuring life out as they go. So basically, nobody knows what the hell they're doing. We're all just winging it one day at a time. Uh, because I did not realize that being grown meant remembering to pay these damn bills that come every freaking month. And as soon as you pay it, it feels like that month just goes so damn fast. Boundaries, healing, and what is the reason for toilet paper costing so goddamn much money? I just don't understand it. Like, it's toilet paper. Why do you cost so much? Let me stop. I digress. That is a complaint that I have frequently when I'm talking to friends, and they think it's funny because it's like, really, toilet paper? That's what you're, over here. Complaint. Yes, toilet paper. The cost of toilet paper drives me absolutely insane. But we're gonna stay on topic. We're gonna stay on topic. Let's get into relationships first. Uh, we gonna look at situations where we'll even talk about the Megan Clay situation. I think I felt it on a different level because she genuinely seemed happy. She really seemed like, and I thought he was too. He's from the outside looking in, because we don't know anything about their situation. He seemed like he was happy too, and he was ready to be monogamous and do all the things, and it looked good on the outside. And then to find out that he cheated on her, and then it kept coming out that he is a serial cheater, it was just like, oh my gosh, that's heartbreaking, especially as someone like me who is a lover of love. Like, I love love. I just love love. It is what it is. So when I see other people in love, it genuinely makes me happy, because who wouldn't want to be in love? So to talk about cheating, and see her so unhappy, and everyone's having an opinion on, what they feel, it literally it struck a nerve with me. That shows in adulthood that it's traumatic. So and if you've ever experienced that kind of betrayal, because I definitely have, it's easy to start questioning yourself. You start questioning, am I good enough? What could I have done different? um, what did I do to deserve this? Did I miss something that I should have paid attention to? Um, should I have not worn this? Should I have, been more enthusiastic with my partner? Should I have, cooked more? Should I have, it's so much that goes through your head, and you literally start chipping away at yourself because of that one betrayal. And it's like, even when you think you're over it, something happens and it re-triggers, the hurt from it. um I I dealt with it, and it's I don't know, it's one of the most heartbreaking things ever. And even though it's not always about you, because I personally feel like cheating is a personal choice. It's not about the other person. And yes, maybe you should have had a conversation that you felt like you couldn't have because of whatever the case may be. It's still, up to that person to say, okay, I'd rather end it than do this. But, you didn't. And I had to learn a lot of this the hard way. I had to learn a lot of this while self soothing. And you know better, you do better, and you get better. So, yeah. But it's not rare. Studies have shown that 20 to 25% of married men and 10 to 15% of married women admit to cheating at some point. So it's not about not being enough. I think it's about character, who you are, as a person, because your character is who you are when people aren't around. I'm just going to say that. And I had, like I said, I had to unlearn a lot of, thinking if I loved harder, gave more, understood more, it would fix things. But no, that's not the case. Character is a choice, and it's not something you earn from someone. So, it is what it is. I don't fault myself 100%, but I do look at, myself and say, okay, there are things maybe, I don't know. There's certain, I'm still, like I said, I'm still learning and unlearning things. But yeah, it's not something that is easily able to just get over, and no one wants to be cheated on. It's like one of the ultimate betrayals that you can do to somebody. But yeah, I digress. And let's talk about money, because Jesus Christ, every time I look up, every freaking time I look up, there is money to be spent, and it feels like it goes out faster than it comes in. I've had, like, I kid you not, I've had a direct deposit hit and multiple bills attack it. You're just like,
young people today are upset about what's happening in the world around them, and I understand why. You have wage stagnation, so we basically have not made any more money, and in fact, this generation, Gen Z, is the first generation where at their same age as their parents, they're making less money, not more. Problem is their university degrees are 3 to 4x more expensive. Oh, by the way, so is housing. Wait a second, inflation is at a degree in which my dollar today is worth even substantially less than even 5 years ago.
And then when you have too much money, I'm sure we've all been there. You have too much money, you like, what did I forget to pay? Why do I have so much money? But everything is expensive, like in real life. Like, I sat here, I said, okay, I'm gonna, instead of going out to eat, I'm gonna do this. Well, by the time I finished at the grocery store, I could have bought, you know, 3 different meals for my son and I to eat, in, with the amount of money I spent at the grocery store. And then I'm like, well, it's the convenience of it. In the morning, I don't have to go and do this because we have this. When it comes to lunch, I don't have to do this because we already have this. So, I'm trying to look at it from a positive aspect, but God, it's just so expensive. And 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And that includes people with decent jobs. Yo, when I tell you, I watched a whole argument take place on TikTok because this guy said $100,000 is the new $50,000. So when people were like, "Yeah, I want to make $50,000, $55,000, $60,000 a year," and then you see how much money comes out in taxes out of your check, it's nothing. Then you finally hit the 100,000, and guess what? There's more money gone, and you're like, where is the relief? There is no relief. And, this life will humble you quickly financially, especially when things don't go as planned. You look up and, you done popped a tire. I got a friend who, I kid you not, she popped a tire, went to go get a new one, $800. Just right off the bat, $800. And that was the cheapest she found. So, yeah, being grown is real ghetto. And I'm just like, man. But, like everyone, I've had seasons where I've had to figure this out, in real time as life was happening. And trust me, life is still happening right now. I've been having stuff, and I'm just like, if it's not one thing, it's another. And then, I remind myself that I've gone through worse. I survived it. I did not die. I may have felt like I died a little bit, just tiny bit, but I did not die. And I am a lot stronger. And I'm not the same person that is going through it now that went through, all that back then. Um, and I've learned that stability isn't just about what you make, it's about how you manage it. And trust me, I'll be managing it. Because no matter how prepared you are, sometimes, when stuff happens, you just got to rebuild. It's like, okay, keep it pushing. Let's figure it out and get done. And now, my favorite part of being a grown up, because let me tell you, I'm going to sip my wine before we go into this next one. Mental and emotional health. Mentally, I'm learning to not sit in it, but feel it. There is a difference. Feeling it means you're processing it in your whole body to where it's like, okay, this is what happened. This is what's going on. What am I going to do about it? Because just continuing to sit in it does nothing for the problem. Sitting in it literally means like you're letting it take over you. And what are you accomplishing when you do that? Nothing. Trust me. I know from experience. Sitting in it is not the best thing to do. I feel it, I process it. I'm mentally at a place now where I can move on. And I love that for me, but it was not the easiest. Like I said, I am 44 and it took me this long to learn these different, as my therapist calls them, coping mechanisms. I'm learning this. I'm happy with where I am with my progress. However, it's a lot. It's a lot. Uh, and nobody told me that this was going to be ongoing. It's like, as soon as you think that, oh, I'm good, here comes something else. And you're like, okay. 1 in 5 adults experience mental health challenges every year. And you know what's so wild about me doing this? And then this is a part of, we are in Mental Health Awareness Month right now in the month of May. And we don't talk about this enough, especially in the Black community. It's so cliche, it's so taboo that it just, for whatever reason, it does not happen. A lot of us were raised to just be strong. It's like, yeah, I hate that. I don't like when somebody tells me you're strong. Okay, while that very well may be true, I don't always want to be strong. Sometimes I just want to be soft. I want to be taken care of, I guess you can say. And that is, something, because I wasn't raised to be strong. I was raised in a more privileged situation. So for me to have to go from privileged to, oh, you're so strong. No, 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 I don't like it. I don't want it. And while it may have been a disservice to an extent, um, I know what I was supposed to be. I know what I was supposed to have, and this ain't it. Um, and like I said, I've had many seasons where I was juggling a lot, like a lot, a lot. Work, motherhood, life hitting me from every angle that you can imagine. And realizing that being strong is just, you know, not okay for me. I had to unlearn suffering in silence just because I could handle it. Understanding that I actually have a village that is there for me and will support me. They'll let me get it out. Um, and as I'm getting it out, realizing, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do. It is what it is, because you can't do nothing about that. And with this mom thing, there is no clock out. People go, oh, yeah. And I'm just going, no, because while, there are 2 of us parenting this child, we are still on duty full time, because you go to school. Guess what? They gonna call you. They don't care. If something happens to them, you think that we're both not gonna be? No, we'll both be there to make sure things are okay. It's just one of those things where, like, there is no, I'm not doing it. It's got to get done. So you figure it out. Um, Now, here's a stat that I didn't, know, but I'm not going to say I knew the percentage, the number percentage, but I did know because daily I'm seeing moms, say, oh my gosh, I've got this, and this going on. I have friends who feel burnt out, but 70% of moms report feeling overwhelmed or burnt out.
71% of women still perform more invisible labor in their household, even when both partners are working. It's not about driving the kid to doctor's appointment. Invisible labor is about knowing when the appointment is, scheduling the appointment, knowing what kind of checkups they're having, knowing if they're gonna get shots and if those shots are gonna make him sick, having Tylenol ready for them because they're gonna have a fever. It's all of that little checklist that almost go unnoticed, right? Invisible labor is called invisible because you don't see it. You just see the end result. But sometimes what's leading up to the end result is really what drives so many people and so many women into exhaustion.
That is a lot. That is very big, in the mom community, because we are, and a lot of people don't look at it as, oh, okay, well, you're doing. No, it's the mental load that makes it heavier, because um I work I sit behind a desk most of the day. I'm working behind a computer. When I get off some time after dealing with, different personalities, as well as, making sure I do my work correctly, my brain is just like, I need to shut down. I just genuinely need to shut down. And thank goodness I'm not where I was, where my first instinct was, oh, I'm going to go home and have a drink. I don't drink. Sometimes I go to sleep, or I just be scrolling and laughing and rubbing my feet together and having a good old time. But a lot of moms are just, they're like, I can't. Like, there's always, like, this goddamn week. It is freaking Teacher Appreciation Week, and you're supposed to take a little gift every day. I'm not doing that everyday crap. I'm sorry. I will appreciate you on Friday and send one big gift, because the everyday thing is like, then you got to remember, oh, got to get this, got to get that. It's too much. Then you have Spirit Week. You have this, doctor's appointments, games, practices. My goodness, just the thought of everything, birthday parties. And then you're sitting here going, I haven't even had a minute to process anything. And then you still got to eat. And let me tell you, trying to figure out dinner sometime is one of the most overrated things on the planet. When I tell you, that is just like, damn, I really got to figure this out every single day. I have to figure it out every day what I'm going to feed us. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. I didn't sign up for this life, and I don't think I want it either. However, that's a part of life. But like I said, I have days where I'm just figuring it out in real time. There are days where I'm just like, hey, kid, what you want to eat? And I let him pick. And I love it, because then it's like, cool. It takes the guesswork from me. I don't have to worry about it. There are times where, he's just like, oh, can we eat noodles? Done. Say less. Can we eat a sandwich? Yes, we can. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And, that's what life taught me. Sometimes it's not about, the bigger things. And if I can relieve my mental, load by, just doing something easy, I'm going to. um, and my therapist always tells me that doing my best doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. It just means getting to the finish line. And if I can get him, do homework, feed him, make sure he gets in the shower, get in bed, and get his full, however many hours of sleep he's supposed to have, because my cutoff is 9. Oh, Jesus Christ. And the only reason I let him go to 9, because sometimes he'd be a little wired still. And, I get it. Recess ain't what it used to be in schools anymore. So we deal with it. But yeah, 9 is the cutoff. He's up by 7. And it's just like, oh my goodness. So if I can make it through the day and accomplish all those things, I'm happy. I feel like I won. So yeah. um, Outgrowth and boundaries. Let me tell you, nobody told me about outgrowing people and what it would mean growing apart from people that you've had in your life that you thought would be there forever.
I had a friend who was very much, I considered like a sister. She's probably the only adult friendship I've had where I've literally fallen out with, like, ever completely.
Yeah.
Which is really crazy because we were like family, and that's very, very hard. It was like a messy divorce. It was really, really weird. But the thing is, and then, you know, we posted about this the other day, like, somebody's not calling you because they owe you an apology.
Yeah. I think we all reposted it.
Repost, you know, and it's interesting because, to your point, it's like, I can look at this person and say, this person was a good friend to me, but then I can also look at the ways and be like, they weren't a good friend to me, but also still have compassion for the fact that, like, I actually don't think that you intended to hurt me, but I actually know so much about you that I have compassion for the way that you don't even see yourself operating in this life.
That's real.
So that has actually helped me make peace with letting go of the anger I think I felt towards her for many years, because I definitely felt so hurt. And I was like, no, you knew what you were doing. And then after I was like, wait a second, you know this person intimately, very, very closely. You know why they operate like that. This is not just you. They do this with everybody. So it really allowed for me to make peace with that. And, like, even through the hardest parts and the, you know, the realities that came to surface of that relationship, as much as I could still feel hurt, I don't feel angry.
Shift every 7 to 10 years. And it shows, like, how people grow, you know, apart from each other, which is so hard. It's so hard because it's not that you beefing with that person. It's just who they are right now and who you are right now are not. You're not here anymore. You're not on that same page. So one of the things that, you know, I'm starting to learn is, you know, recategorizing people, where, oh, this may have been a close friend, but now they're not as close as they used to be. It's like, okay, you know, we're going to put you back to, you know, just a regular friend. That's, you know, a childhood friend. That's my old schoolmate, you know, things like that. And yes, it sucks because it's like, man, I may have known you for, you know, 20, 30 years. Damn, just to be that old and say it's wild. One of my oldest friends, we've literally known each other since we were two. She'll be 44 close to the end of this year. I just turned 44. We've known each other since we were 2. And we still, you know, it's like we don't see each other as frequently as we want to, but there is, you know, a constant communication with us, things like that. I love her to death, but it's one of those where it's just like, I don't know how I would feel if we were to just be like, oh no, we're not cool anymore. We don't talk, like, because we've known each other for so long. But that is one thing I'm learning to adjust to, is that sometimes people are not meant for that particular season. I had a friend that I was super close to a few years ago. And, like, when I tell you, when we met, it was like instant, like, oh my God, this is my girl. We're doing stuff together. And then somewhere it shifted and we started going like this. And that hurt my feelings. And if you know me, you know my feelings get hurt relatively easy, but, you know, it just is what it is. And now it's like, okay, I understand, you know, it may not be forever sometimes either. You just have to learn how to roll with the punches. Another thing I noticed about myself is that being alone used to scare me. Why? Because it just felt like loss. And I had a lot of loss when I was younger. So it was a different, you know, emotional field, I guess you can say, for me. But now, I am not going to lie, I love being alone. I love being by myself. I love laughing at myself. I love just having a good ass time where, you know, it's like I don't have to worry about entertaining somebody, being judged, any of that. I'm just naturally me. And I enjoy my solitude, and it has given me a higher emotional awareness about myself, to where I am able to, you know, handle things a little differently. And what used to feel like loneliness now feels like alignment. And I'm thankful for that. Let's talk about those boundaries, because it's a lot of people that don't understand boundaries. They think, oh, boundaries means that I cut you off. And it's like, no. But 50% of people struggle with setting boundaries.
Boundaries don't mean you don't care. They mean you finally care about yourself as well. Boundaries don't make you selfish. They make you self-respecting. Boundaries don't make you hard to love. they make you harder to manipulate. And boundaries don't control others. They remind you that you can only control yourself.
That was me for a long time, long time. I was just like, I did not understand for a long time that that was a sufficient answer. No, I don't want to. It's, one of those things where I used to feel bad if I didn't want to or I couldn't. Like, it was just making me the bad guy. But it's like, if you guilt me, am I the bad guy or are you? So, yeah, especially with people I loved.
When you love people, it's hard to tell them no. And it's hard to tell them when they're showing bad behavior because you love them and you know they're a good person, but they're not showing up as a good person. But the really, really beautiful thing when you make boundaries with the people that you love is you give them a chance to show up for you instead of you always showing up for them. And so I learned a really hard lesson in the last few years of leaving people behind. And, sometimes they stayed behind and then other times they showed up.
And then I had to understand that having access to me, just like having access to them, is a privilege. Nobody is owed a space in your life. It doesn't matter who it is. When I tell you, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I don't care anymore, whether it's a parent, an aunt, whoever. It's like, if you have not showed me that you deserve space in my life, you're not gonna have space. And yes, it hurts. Trust me, it hurts, especially being, firm on that. But that's where the boundary, is about you. I was watching this, I think it was an Instagram reel, where this guy, I guess he had expressed to his girlfriend that he did not like his birthday. He did not want to have a birthday party. He didn't want to be celebrated. And she threw him a surprise party. Ma'am, he specifically told you how he felt about that. And you turned around and did the one thing thinking you're doing something for him that was really for you. And if he breaks up with her, then she's going to be like, but what did I do? I was just trying to do it. No, you weren't doing it for him. You did it for you. And I used to be someone that would do things for people that I thought they wanted versus what they. Now, if somebody told me, yeah, I just want to go have a glass of wine, let's go. Whatever you want to do for your birthday. I'm not going to, make it over the top. I have another friend who she told me she did not like her birthday. And for those that know me, I do like to celebrate people, as best as I can. I like to give gifts. I like to, celebrate people. It's just, that's who I am. And I did not do that. I kept it very low key. I put the gift under her desk at work because I didn't want her to feel like I wasn't respecting her, but I still wanted to give her a token for her birthday. And she told me she appreciated it. And that made me happy because sometimes people don't tell you, the whole situation, and that is for them. They don't have to tell you anything. So her boundary was respected because I didn't go over the top. I wasn't going to do that because that's not something that she wanted. Even with my son, if he says, oh, yeah, for my birthday, I want to do this. Done. That's what we're doing. I don't want to do something, that you may not want to do. And anything extra is just a bonus. But I would rather do what people want because that's what they want. And they're entitled to their feelings. But it's definitely one of those that I had to learn. Like I say, your boundaries are for you, not for others.
I just want to align with people that have a healthy respect for other people's boundaries, even if I don't have mine in place. Mm-hmm. Even if I'm not forcing you to respect my boundaries, can you read the room to not overstep my boundaries? Yes. Are you the type of person that doesn't take advantage? Yeah. Because that concept of people do what you allow them to do, no, people do what is in their capacity to do. Mm-hmm. Even if you allow me to treat you bad, I'm not going to treat you bad because I don't treat people bad.
That's right.
So even if you allow me to overstep your boundaries, I'm not going to overstep them because I don't overstep people boundaries. That's my character. I've been making these cuts because whether you have your boundaries in control or not, just know that I have mine in control, and I'm not going to overstep it or take advantage, even if you don't have it. That's what users say. Well, I'm going to do what you allow. No, you're going to do what's in your nature to do. You're just a horrible person.
You're just revealing yourself.
Yeah, you're just revealing yourself. So when it comes to boundaries, I'm standing firm. I'm having the confrontations, but I'm also making cuts on anybody that looks like they want to overstep them.
Yes. And people will test your boundaries to see, like, you know, we'll go back to the cheating thing. If you tell somebody, if you cheat on me, I'm going to leave you, and then you stay, guess what? They're going to be like, oh, well, they didn't leave, so they must not be that serious about it. Your boundary is for you, not for the other person. So if you respect yourself the way that you do, then that's going to be something that you're going to take care of. But yeah, being an adult is not what it's cracked up to be. It's not what I thought it was going to be. And life has humbled me in many, many ways. And I'm not down about it, because that's just what it is. I'm not down about it at all, because I'm just like, cool. I'm learning that, okay, I need to do this, this, and this if I want to have, you know, the best for myself. And I do. So, you know, I'm respecting myself as well. But this life thing is definitely one for the books. But for you guys, let me know in the comments, what's one thing you had to learn on your own that changed you? Man, that's a question I didn't even ask myself as I was thinking about all of this. What's a lesson that I had to learn on my own that changed me? Love isn't enough. Yeah, love is not enough. You need so much more to make things work. Emotional intelligence, um, understanding a person's perspective, even if you may feel strongly about something, is just as important as, you know, what is the adjective that I want to use? It's just as important, you know, as, you know, the love is, and, you know, being respectful of that person, because that is part of being respectful. I think one of my biggest things when it comes to relationship is being uh fair over, you know, like when people say, oh, you just want to win. No, I just want fairness. I just want to be understood, where it's like, okay, you know what, I get what you're saying, I respect what you're saying, and, you know, that's that. But I think that's changed me, you know, understanding that love is not enough, you know. So when Tina was singing What's Love Got to Do with It, boy, boy, boy. But yeah, being grown is not what I thought it was going to be.
Hey, I just wanted to grow up and be grown so that I could go to the club and drink, fuck, and drive. Where the fuck all this other shit come from?
It's not just freedom. It's not just accountability. You know, it's healing, it's boundaries, it's lesson. And every lesson really does build you to be, you know, the amazing person that you're going to be. And if you feel like you're still figuring it out, you are, and that's okay. Again, you're changing every 7 years. So I don't remember where I heard it, but somebody was saying they would be more disappointed if their partner wasn't changing and growing and they were staying the same. And I felt that, because it's just like every time they have, if you're an iPhone user, because I'm very much an iPhone user, Apple does those updates, you know, every so often. I don't know if other phones do it too, but I know Apple does. And there are things I like about the updates and things I don't like. Does that mean I'm going to let go of my iPhone? No, I'm not. I love iPhone. I love Apple products. I've got Apple TV, MacBook, you name it. Somebody in my family has it. iPads. We've had iPods when they were just, you know, the thing. It's one of those where you look at that update, you think about the things you like, the things you don't like, you still rocking with it. Now, there are some people who ain't loyal and they be like, no, I went back to Android. And it's like, cool, deuces. we don't want you back over here anyway. No, I'm just playing. But you look at relationships like that, whether it's romantic, platonic, familial, and you look at the changes. There are going to be things you don't like about that person, but there's going to be more that you do. And if you only focus on what you don't like, it does mess up the whole. It messes up how you look at them. It messes up how you learn to enjoy them more. And I think that's where people lose touch. And just like my therapist said, it's always easy to spot something wrong. It's always easy to spot something negative. It is a lot more work and intentionality to look for what's good. So I think with me shifting my mindset to that, it does help me, because I've had times where I didn't know I was being negative until, I'm talking to somebody and they're like, girl, now you know you didn't have to X, Y, and Z. And it's true. It's like, okay, I didn't think about it from that perspective. Okay, cool. Thanks. I appreciate it. And I don't take advice from people I don't respect. So if I don't have respect for you, your opinion honestly does not matter to me. And I'm not saying that to be mean, or malicious or anything, but it's the truth. It's like, if you're out here and you're doing things that don't align with who I am as a person, that's going to make me a better person, I'm not going to take your advice. So that's just what it is. But we are all still figuring it out. We are all still one day at a time in it. And that is okay. But yeah, that is tonight's episode. I thank you again for joining me. Make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to do that. It makes me happy and it makes me look good with YouTube. And I want more people to keep seeing my content. So yeah, make sure you hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share, all the things. And remember that healing is not linear. It's really not. There are the ebbs and flows of life. And we're all figuring it out one glass at a time. But I will see you next week. Oh, and happy Mother's Day, because Mother's Day is Sunday. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms, stepmoms, auntie moms, godmoms. Happy Mother's Day, because Lord help me, we survived another year of being in this mom life gang. And yes. But cheers. See you next week.
Yes, you blessed, like an aged bottle of wine, so fine, not to mention if